It's your daily dose of Donna, and it is a beautiful Thursday, November 7th, windy and strangely feeling like fall here in Los Angeles. How about where you guys live? It is a lot of people's first live. Welcome, Dahlia. It's your first live today. Yes, it's Thursday. I know it feels like Friday. This is the week that honestly feels like a month. It's the longest week of life. But what's exciting about today's Thursday is I have a very special guest because we're going to be talking all Salt Lake. You guys, we are tearing Salt Lake City open. I know it sounds sexual, but it's not because it's Salt Lake City. Remember, at Salt Lake City, it's very clean. There's hardly any drugs or alcohol. They don't do anything there. They just drink their swigs. You guys, we have so much to talk about today with special guest GEORGIO Says. But first, this is Daily Dose of Donna. You've seen him on Real Housewives of OC. You see him every day on Instagram multiple times breaking down with crazy screenshots from the episodes. He has no chill when it comes to tearing apart these episodes, and he says what's on our mind all the time. I can't wait to really get into his head about what he thinks about Real Housewives of OC, what he thinks about Whitney, what he thinks about the phone call, the infamous phone call, and what he thinks about Ali Baba. Here is GEORGIO Says. Welcome to Daily Dose of Donna, GEORGIO.
Hello. Thank you, Donna, for having me.
Okay, I need to get the energy that you're getting on your Instagram accounts. Let me ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
What is happening with the phone call debacle? I played your entire Instagram reel yesterday on our show, and everyone, the one that you posted yesterday or 2 days ago about Dana Wilkie, about the original post, literally the entire comment section, including your girl here, we were all a big question mark. None of us can follow it. What is happening?
So my thing is I like to go down rabbit holes, and this was something that was just eating at me because it just never made sense, none of it. And so when I posted that, it was because I do follow Dana's Patreon. Like I'm a subscribed person because sometimes, she hits some things on the head. And when she posted the screenshots that are alleged between her and Whitney, it it started to feel like Whitney was kind of desperate, even though she found out maybe midway that, oh, this isn't her, because that's what Dana's saying. In the screenshot, it does say that that's what it is, that it's not Lisa Barlow. And there's even more to it because even in there, Dana speculates that it's someone on the cast that actually put this information out to begin with.
Okay,
And then
hold.
okay, yes,
I
yes.
want I want us to do this like we are in kindergarten. Okay.
Okay.
January, this random blog account finds this picture on Alibaba, and it's a picture of Whitney's exact replica of her bracelets that she's selling.
Mhm.
She posted on her Instagram account. She notices that Whitney Rose actually views this on her story.
Mhm.
The next thing that happens is go.
So a month from that point, so February 19th, Dana Wilkie drops her video on YouTube about this.
So nothing happens between January and February.
No, it's just kind of like because even when you look at the account, it didn't get a lot of views, so it was either a very new account or a newer account. Nonetheless, uh February 19th, Dana Wilkie drops the Prism Alibaba video on YouTube. That is what obviously got attention because obviously her channel is bigger and she also had it on her Patreon. But nonetheless, she also had a lot of screenshots that showed the same things that were posted on January 5th.
Okay. Where does Up and Adam come in and Whitney Rose?
So from what I gathered from the DMs that Dana posted, it seemed like Adam was talking to Whitney and was, I guess, trying to help her figure out who was behind the account that she saw, the original one that we just discussed at the top on January 5th. Because remember, she saw that. So I think that's what sparked her to probably ask. And so I think Dana's video, I don't know where this is where I'm lost. I don't know where the miscommunication between Dana, Wilkie, and Adam were, because if she posted on February 19th, that scene in the car was filmed in April. So it just, it feels like there's a couple people that may be lying.
The scene in the car that we saw of Whitney and Adam was filmed in April. The scene where they're at Angie's anniversary party was filmed in March. This
13th.
is production. This is a produced situation.
Yes.
They got Adam to get on that phone call with Whitney to fill in the blanks to create a storyline. It has to be.
Dana has a different theory, but
What is Dana's theory?
So Dana Wilkie speculates, and her theory is that the account that I guess was sending, or I guess the people behind pushing the information out originally, this is, and I'm quoting her, she said, Heather Gay, and what was is it Tatiana, the hairstylist that was connected to Monica last
Oh
season?
my gosh, this is really going deep. Tatiana.
Okay. Yes. So she's saying, this is Dana Wilkie, that it's Heather Gay, Tatiana, and a sprinkle of Meredith Marks.
How are they involved?
So she speculates that Heather is the one that put the information out about the Prism line being like, the whole Alibaba thing. She's the one that put the information out, I guess, first, but Dana kept hinting at it's someone on the cast that really can't stand Whitney that put it out. And it was, I guess,
Tanisha.
Is it Tanisha?
Yeah, Kylie says, I think her name is Tanisha.
Okay.
I trust
Essentially,
Kylie.
it's the hairstylist that was also kind of connected in the Monica Garcia stuff last season off camera, where they were going back and forth, sharing each other's messages. They're saying, Dana's saying that that's she's alleging or hinting at that, rather. And in these DMs, allegedly, if these DMs are real and they're not doctored, Whitney seems to guess Heather when.
Okay.
So
why is Whitney trying to take down Lisa with us?
Because she doesn't like her. And I think she wants to set up another, and again, this is Dana's theory. She wants to set it up like it's a Monica Garcia hypocrisy on Lisa Barlow because of last season and what happened. So she was trying to make it seem like, oh, how hypocritical of you to come after Monica and be so harsh, but yet you're conspiring with bloggers to take down or, tarnish my business. And that's the theory that Dana has. And that's why she utilizes I guess, dropping these DMs. Because and I didn't realize this either, Whitney and Adam are not obviously on good terms, but she also blocked Dana. So I'm also confused by that, because this is why there's botched timeline of screenshots. She didn't screenshot everything, but she said the ones that she did screenshot, she took them for the purpose of sending to Adam.
Oh, okay.
It's a lot. I know.
But it's a lot of nothing makes sense.
Yes.
Like, okay, so you're here. You have all the information, and like still, I don't think any of us, you guys, I did make a flow chart. I would like everyone to see what my flow chart is. It has all the information, and here it is. no one understands what the hell the Alibaba mystery is. Because I think what it really comes down to is I know Adam supposedly talked about it on his podcast because I want to share Giorgio, you put on um last night you posted on your podcast, I'm sorry, this morning on your Instagram about last night's Watch What Happens Live, because it wasn't brought up in the episode yesterday, I don't believe at all. Thank God.
No, no.
It wasn't brought up in the episode yesterday. But you posted Watch What Happens Live. It was brought up. A question was asked. I think the Bravo babe asked.
Yep.
Was it the Bravo babe?
Yeah, shout out to
She
her.
asked about it on Twitter
Mhm.
or on Instagram or something, and Andy brought it up. And Whitney kind of threw Adam under the bus.
Yeah, the whole podcaster bit, this is where I'm also kind of like, why didn't you just say his channel name? Like, it's very like, it's almost like they didn't want to throw him completely out there, which is why it's like confusing, because she's saying that he did tell her it was Lisa Barlow.
Well, there's also something interesting about like the crediting of him, because when you allow yourselves your voice on a TV show or your face or anything, you have to sign a release, right? So Adam from Up and Adam did allow himself to get his voice on a phone call, whether it was 1, 2, or 10, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Normally, they do put a chyron. They put some sort of a credit, whether it's Adam podcast. Did they say Adam even?
Yeah, I think it
Adam
said
Whitney's
Adam podcaster, like
or
Adam
Adam Whitney's friend, maybe they said. I can't remember.
something
But they
something really because she says he's a casual friend,
y
podcaster friend or whatever.
yeah, it is very interesting that they're not bringing up specifically, "This is Up and Adam." I think it would be good for his podcast if they did bring it up, and maybe that's why she's not doing it. Maybe she specifically doesn't feel the need or the want to, like, promote him, because I don't think she's very happy with him. It doesn't sound like she's happy with him right now, because he's kind of going against her in his words. He's basically saying, "No, Whitney, I never said it was Lisa to you. Why are you saying that I did?"
But it's
That's
on
what he's
camera.
saying.
She's saying on camera, so why won't they just they have to show it at the reunion. They're gonna have to show.
Never once have I ever gone back to the episode where they did the original phone call and gone back to listen to what the phone call said. Like, that's how little I care about the storyline. I've never once said, like, wait, what did the actual phone call say in that episode? I like don't want to do my homework. Like, I'm so bad at caring enough about the storyline. Lisa says Adam said they had so many conversations, hours on the phone. Um, AI says Alibaba has multiple meanings, including a fictional character, a business. Oh, no, Alibaba is Alibaba. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so another thing, I want to play your Instagram post from this morning, where you cover kind of what was happening on Watch What Happens Live, and this will be an interesting kind of conversation just to go over, and then we're going to talk about Daddy Todd and all of last night's Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, in addition to talking about the horrendousness of Real Housewives of New York, because the more I think about it, in addition to seeing the reviews and the record low numbers, and then talking about Rebecca Minkoff and your deep dive, I think we have to burn RHONY to the ground. So hold on one second. Let me pull up your Instagram and let's see the amazing reporting that you did on Up and Adam. Are you friends with Up and Adam?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. No. Hold on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Here's Giorgio covering last night's Watch What Happens Live, where Whitney Rose was a guest.
I guess you really are going to take this all the way to the end. So in case you missed it, last night, Whitney was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy answered a question from, shout out to the Bravo babe on Instagram and TikTok. But her question was, let's just take a listen.
The Bravo babe said, what's your response to your podcaster friend you had on the phone saying he never told you it was Lisa Barlow who started the Alibaba rumors?
Well, I'm very confused because he told me explicitly that it was on camera. And just a little back reference there, I'm friends with his husband.
Okay.
So I'm very confused by the level of thirst and betrayal here because I have history with his husband. He's from Utah Mormon culture, and I'm not going to sell them out, but I'm very disappointed and hurt by that.
Okay.
Trusted the wrong person.
But do you believe that he was telling the truth about the rumors?
I do.
Okay.
Wait, now I'm more confused. Why do you feel betrayed by Adam if you believe that what he told you was true and you're adamant that he did say it on camera? So can we roll that clip at least? But nonetheless, there's DMs that Dana posted where she told you it wasn't Lisa Barlow. So what? All of this because of some pieces you sourced allegedly from Alibaba and got called out for it? Like, really? There's absolutely nothing else going on that we have to pull a random content creator into a situation to create a storyline that isn't even based in any truth, but you're still going to go all the way to the reunion with whatever these receipts are? So are Dana's receipts lies? Did she doctor those? Or is Adam lying about it being Lisa Barlow? I don't know. It just feels like everyone's lying at this point. Wow, Whitney, I guess you really are going to...
Okay. So, number one, the comments are so funny because everyone's like, imagine how she feels. Imagine how he feels.
So many
Imagine the
fills.
hills that she's filling. What are we doing here, Whitney? Like, where are we going? Number one, am I nuts to think that Jason, I mean, maybe we shouldn't be using real names. This podcaster's husband, I thought he was Jewish. He's Mormon?
Apparently so. But also, I think I saw in the comments someone said that Jason said he doesn't know her, and the only thing that they have in common is that they're Mormon. So it's really weird because even also, someone's lying.
No shit.
No, I know that's redundant at this point. But my point in that is that if that's the case, she's close to Jason, but in the DMs, some of the screenshots of the DMs with Dana and Whitney, she says in there that she loves Jason. So like that's why I feel like either Whitney is lying or Adam did tell her it was Lisa Barlow.
I think there needs to be a freaking rule on shows from now on that no podcasters, no Instagram accounts, no content creators can be part of a storyline. And if they are part of a storyline, they have to lie and pretend they're real friends because it gets too confusing this way. Like,
or make them meet in person so that
yeah,
everyone knows
not like
who
some
it
random
is, not some-
DM.
yeah, because I mean that's kind of niche, and that's why I feel like they did it that way because they obviously clipped it up, but I don't think they're
Well,
clipping
they
it up.
maybe didn't obviously clip it up.
But
Maybe
I
that's
don't
just
know.
Adam saying.
That's what I'm saying. But that's why I always question the other piece to it. Well, then what was he referring to when he said the one that owns the liquor brand? Well, what was that connected to then?
Yeah, just like talking about some random other story.
So maybe he realized when he told her on camera, because this is why the DMs that Dana dropped are important. That happened after Whitney recorded with Adam, because that's what's in the message. She said, why would he tell me it's her? I trusted him. And then Dana responds with, I told him it wasn't Lisa. Next time, just ask.
Okay. I will tell you something. I think that we have absolutely lost the plot of keeping this like this is getting too much of like the content creators are trying to get it. It's like they're clawing at trying to be on the shows. I
Mhm.
don't mean to say this because I know that you literally were part of a storyline a couple weeks ago on OC. So I hope you're not taking this personally because
Not at
I don't,
all, because I
but
did
you
I
weren't,
did the research, and the video I did came out before they started filming the show last season.
but you weren't
So
like calling someone and being on the show. They literally took a
no.
video that you did. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. Just inserted because of the background that I covered, connecting it to what was being talked about. But even with that, I had to go through a lot of clearance, and I sent them all the PDFs of all the court documents just to make sure, because they were also like, do we have to blur everything in the background out? And I'm like, no. But nonetheless, I wasn't calling anyone and being like, hey, look, Ryan over here. Like, no, I just think it worked out that way. It wasn't built in. This was scheduled and filmed, and
There should be a moratorium on that. There should be like a rule against content creators trying to insert themselves in the story. If information is found out because a content creator does a deep dive, posts something on their stories, and it comes out, that is very different.
yeah.
But and then like one of the housewives finds something out because there's a content creator on TikTok who finds some incredible deep dive story out that it's incredible. That's fine. I think that's okay, but it's different
Yeah.
than a content creator DMing Teresa or DMing, one of the cast members and says, "Hey, by the way, I found this out." Like that should be a fine issue. That should be like grounds for being fired because it changes the game. It takes you out of the story. And I think it is messy and I don't like it. And I think Whitney should be on the chopping block for this reason. I think Whitney, to be honest, I already think Whitney is okay to be gone from Salt Lake City, to be honest. I think her healing journey is like she's already healed and she's fallen down the hill and now she's back going up the hill and she needs to fall back down the hill. I don't find her very interesting on this show. Apparently, I got a message just now, so I guess I'm breaking the rule too. But I just got a message saying Adam said he recorded his phone call with Whitney as well, and he is threatening to release it if she doesn't admit that she's lying.
But she's saying it was filmed on camera, so she could easily just call the editor and be like, can you pull? But I don't know if they care enough to do that, though. Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's saying that they Franken edited it. You know that word where they basically cut pieces
For
to
what
make it sound.
reason? Why would they do that to his part? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why is that like the focus? What was actually said? And why did you say the wife that has the liquor brand? Like, why is this such an issue? Like, why did you record the conversation?
None of it makes sense. You recorded the conversation. Clearly, you didn't trust her going into it if you're recording the conversation with a housewife. That's weird. I've never recorded a conversation with anyone unless I don't trust them.
1000%.
And I've never actually recorded a conversation with anyone. Like, I can't remember the last time. Like, YouTube, I mean, iPhones have a new feature, by the way, the new update. And I was on a phone call and I was like, what is this? And if you press it, it says record the conversation. They have a new update where you can do that. But this is just released. Like, to record a conversation, you have to like download software before. Like, when did you do that?
He has to actually be careful, though, because if it was a phone call, it depends on what the laws in each of the states are. Because like I know, like in New York or in DC, it's one way. Like I approve it, so it's fine. Like I could do it from, but it depends how far she wants to take this. And she clearly wants to take it to the end, because last night was appalling to watch that she's still
Talking about it.
yeah, she won't let it go. I think she just can't at this point. I think
She
just
wants to go
can't.
the distance.
But she has nothing. And with everything else outside of this particular situation that has come up for her and Soul, or whatever that thing is called, allegedly, that is,
Soul?
Her affiliation, remember, like, that story that came out with the
Oh, like,
girls?
the TikToks that were coming out about
Yeah,
the
and the
people that
girls
worked for
got
her?
cease and desists allegedly from them,
Well, I have
for
someone that is
talking.
currently in my live chat right now who has sent me a lot of dirt about some MLM stuff that she and her husband are involved with. There's some crazy stuff going on with Whitney and her
Like,
husband,
factually,
allegedly.
like hardcore receipts?
Uh,
Because they're going on rampages with
there you
the
go. Yeah, there's
story.
some crazy stuff that Whitney and her husband allegedly have been involved with. It's bad.
Someone said
But
someone said Jason videoed the convo because he thought something like this would happen.
listen, I'm just going to tell you one thing, Giorgio. I'm recording this conversation. Okay?
Oh, I've gotta go.
In case you're wondering, this is being recorded. I don't trust you.
Listen, sometimes people wanna make a splash too. Maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe there's a Whitney isn't following Adam. She's blocked with, like, Dana Wilkes. I don't know what happened there or why she blocked her because Dana didn't specify that part, but
Well, I will tell you this. We got to talk about Salt Lake City last night because we need some light in our lives, and RHONY is not doing it.
mm-mm.
Potomac is not doing it for me. It's doing it a little bit more than RHONY, but Salt Lake City is still doing it. It's doing it. Yesterday was not doing it as much as it has been. And I know the missing problem is Mary. We can't continue to have episodes without Mary. Like, I miss Mary. If Mary is not in an episode, I don't know how much I can love it.
I can't tell you how much I've grown to love that woman so much.
You know how, like,
Can't
you can
talk about it enough.
she's
It's
at the top of
crazy.
she's at the top of the list of all housewives, 100%. She's my favorite.
I just wish I had just an ounce of that bravery to just be able to speak. Because, I'm a reformed people pleaser. So it's nice to see someone who's just like, no, I don't want to do that. Don't ask me to do that. I don't, I like it's nice to see that. But I like how quirky she is and she's authentic. Clearly, she's not
Do you
putting on.
think that Mary didn't go on this trip solely because it was a couple's trip and, like, Robert Sr. is in the sky somewhere maybe?
No, and I believe, as there's, I guess, hinting to something alluding to her son and something going on there. I think that's what I think the amount of time away, she wasn't probably maybe comfortable because, they left that part in. Like, she's like, I'm gonna spend time with my son.
I was wondering because we do know that Robert Jr. at some point did go to rehab, but we don't know when that actually took place. So I'm hoping that that was actually the case. I did think maybe for a second there it was a little weird that both the single women weren't there on a couple's trip, if you think about it. I know Heather wasn't invited because she clearly is not in good standings with Bronwin, but it is weird that two of the single women weren't there.
Yeah, that I didn't even pick up on that actually.
Like, I have a weird feeling about Bronwin and Todd. Like, I learned a lot about Bronwin and Todd last night that I actually, like, I don't know what happened yesterday, but well, let's talk about it. So, obviously we go into that episode seeing Lisa and Meredith. Wait, can we have a moment to talk about Meredith this season? I find Meredith really, like, not there this season, more so than ever before. Meredith is such an accessory to the season. What's going on?
I joke around. I'm like, it's almost like they replaced her with like an AI bot, because she's just kind of there sometimes, but then, it's not fully, like, it's almost like she just keeps, every scene looks like she just woke up from like a 6-hour nap and doesn't really know what day it is.
Breaking news. I'm getting text messages. I don't want to say from who, but you all know him. And he's telling me that Whitney Rose blocked Adam. Whitney Rose blocked Adam, and he's saying someone needs a storyline so she doesn't get fired. Such great friends with my husband that you don't even know he's not from Utah. Also, you won't go there. Drop the receipts so I can too. Which ones do you want? The text, DMs, or phone call? Thank you, Whitney Alibaba Rose. Please take a seat after you burn that faux burgundy trash bag. Whitney Rose blocked me. I can't even respond. I'm not here to lie or drag her like she did to me last night. But I will say this, show the proof. I have all the text receipts and everything she said about Heather Gay. So I'm challenging you, Whitney. Let's see what you've got on me. Hi, husband here. The husband got involved. By our history, are you referring to when I helped with your skincare brand that changed names 3 times? Or when you used to work with my cousins at Target? Oi. I run multiple businesses, none of which are MLMs. So maybe you don't sell yourself out with your MLM schemes. The one thing I learned from church was forgiveness. So you're forgiven. Do better. I guess he's not Jewish. I thought he was Jewish.
Wait,
Wow.
who he did? This isn't in this chat, is it? Is it in your private chat?
No, this is a text message that I got.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
These are
what?
from Adam's stories, allegedly. They're like not playing around.
Well, then they should drop it then, because she already has lied again. Then, if that's the case, if he didn't say it, then he should clear himself, and he should just drop at least the part. Well, I don't know, how do you prove that? If they talked for an hour, you're gonna drop like a 3-hour conversation and expect
I would
all this to
listen.
go
I would
through it?
listen to every single moment of those 3 hours. Put it on Patreon. I'll subscribe.
That's true. I'm sure a lot of people would listen to that raw audio.
It's just like a lot of stress. It's like a lot of drama always surrounding.
The Whitney situation, or
No, those two.
no? I know.
It feels like it's swirling. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to this week's episode. So where were we?
Lisa and Meredith show up at the spa to get massages. Meredith is a robot.
Yeah, she's a robot. She's kind of an
Yeah.
accessory. She's not really there. She looks freaking phenomenal. She's studying for her bat mitzvah. Bless her heart. So is my son. I hope my son and her can have a joint bat mitzvah. I'm always looking for my son to kind of pony up to someone else's beautiful party. And they are they're at this gorgeous spot. I mean, one thing about Salt Lake City is it looks phenomenally beautiful in every place they go, right? Have you ever seen a spa with those views?
I mean, I guess outside of Arizona, I would think Salt Lake's probably the next place to go for a nice spa. From what
I
it
mean,
seems
where
like.
were they with that view? It looked like a painting.
I thought it was like green screen. Like it almost felt like it's not real, but it was, because there were some shots when I was screenshotting things. I was like, oh my God, this looks like it can't be real. But
It
then I've
looked like
gone to like,
Switzerland.
it did, because everything just seemed too perfect the way it was all like in the background.
It was gorgeous. Okay, so Heather Gay comes and just joins them after their massages to talk shit about Bronwin. What's the deal, Heather? Why is she doing this? It's so weird. It's as if we didn't have footage of what went down last week between her and Bronwin. Why is she twisting the truth? She comes in there and makes Bronwin look like she completely was a horrible person the week before, but Bronwin apologized, didn't she?
I think she was trying to apologize for whatever it actually was that Heather was actually upset about. That's why she kept reiterating, like, if you could just tell me what it is that I did, then I can apologize for it. And she even said, like, I'll say whatever you need me to say if we could just like move on. Like, she wanted to move on. That's what I got from the episode. I felt like Heather was being resistant on purpose, because nothing that Bronwyn said was not clear.
So Asif says, I think Bronwyn was horrible to Heather. Explain. I'm curious where Bronwyn was horrible to Heather. I don't think they had a great rapport. I did feel Bronwyn was hesitant to bring Heather to her house. She wasn't warm with her. She wasn't like, I love you and I really want to be your friend. It did feel a little bit like, I'm here to apologize. It felt like a check the box, have to do what I have to do. It didn't feel like I really want to be your friend, but in sincerity, I don't think she does want to be her friend, but she felt like she had to do what she had to do. And she did the right thing by apologizing. So why was she trying to be how do you feel like she was actually awful? Wait, BT says Heather Gay seems like the only genuinely likable one. I'm so confused. Are we seeing the wrong side of are we on the wrong side of history? I think
Is
it was
this
the
what
I
what's
think
the
it's the
is this a
opposite.
Mandela effect? Is this like a
Did we
did
watch
we
the wrong
yeah,
show?
yeah. What
It's
that's interesting. I watched it a few times, that full scene, because I just was like, because I was getting comments like this too, and I was like, did I miss some part of this conversation where I'm
yeah.
like, but it didn't. I don't. Sorry, I just don't see it.
Now, I'm not a stand for Bronwin. Please don't get me wrong, because I saw signs of Bronwin last night that I didn't love. But in the
Mm.
Bronwyn Heather version, I did not. Oh my God. Lisa says, what color of dress is it? Blue or brown? I do have to say, with the Bronwyn and the Heather situation, I do think Heather is going out of her way to make everyone hate Bronwyn, and it's not
Mhm.
working. I don't really fully get it, and it's confusing to me why she's doing it. It's like she's going out of her way from the beginning.
Mhm. She
Now,
decided right up front that she didn't like Bronwyn.
yeah, day one, it was so weird. So maybe she's like threatened by her. Maybe there's like a vibe of hers that she doesn't like, that she came in there hot, ready to trot, you know? Um, but anyway, so Heather doesn't get invited to this trip. But all of Bronwyn's dog poop did, allegedly. Apparently, there was enough room on the plane for the dog poop. That part is something I can't wrap my head around. If you have dog poop visibly in your house, you're not my friend. Like, if it's sitting there and you're
N
walking around it,
Absolutely not. You know what else I will not do? If I go to your house and your bathroom is gross, I'm not even gonna drink a cup of water at your house.
clean your toilet.
Disgusting.
There will not I cannot stand for a if there is one little piece of you know what in your toilet before a guest comes, it is hands down, I don't trust you as a human
You mean
being.
public hair?
I mean, I mean a little bit of
Like
leftover
a
God kno
sprinkle of leftover whatever. No, I
I'm
got you.
thinking more number 2, but, like, I don't want this to be a show about poop.
No, absolutely not, but, like, I just feel like cleanliness is the key to happiness. And so if you don't have a clean bathroom or kitchen, those 2 things, I'm out.
Especially when you know someone's coming over. Like, these are the times. These are the moments where you have to, like, do a sweep.
But
You
some
have
people don't
cameras.
think there's anything wrong. That's what I've realized in those situations. They don't it's not this is clean. Like,
You have cameras and a housewife coming to your house for the first time. You spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on art, and you have dog poop on your floor? Explain. It feels very Tori Spelling coded.
I don't necessarily like that vibe because of the way that she's proven herself to be, like, she does have the money, she does have the resource, she can buy these things. We, heard Christian Siriano say that he always gets full payment from her. Uh, so it's not that, but I do question the cleanliness piece, because as someone who has 2 dogs, yeah, there's a lot of space for them to go around and do their business, but I manage that. Like, it's just
Mhm.
I just don't understand it. I didn't understand that, and I didn't understand the chicken sticks on Ariana's nightstand. Like, those things. Like, I can't figure out for the life of me why anybody would just be gr
Giorgio, be
sorry.
careful here, because
I know, but my
I said the same thing, and I ended up on Reddit as a woman hater. You can't say anything bad about Ariana, apparently.
no, I mean, totally. I think I did get bitten for saying it when I
You
but
literally cannot say anything bad about Ariana, or else it looks like you hate women of all across the board.
totally.
In podcast land, it's sacrilege to say anything negative about Ariana. Did you not take the oath of podcast land?
I'm
Just
being
joking.
reminded. I'm being reminded.
I'm a contrarian. I like to say whatever I think, and I think it's disgusting to sleep with poultry next to your bed.
Or any leftover, or just don't eat. I'm not someone who eats in the bedroom, so I don't know.
I mean, sometimes I'm known to like take a spoonful in a jar of Nutella on tough days, but like that also is something that I close up and I take the spoon and I walk my ass to the kitchen at night. You know what I mean? Like it's
You
not
put it
hard.
back.
I put it
You don't
back.
you
Like
don't
I'm
like just
scared of
leave your dirty
ants.
spoon on your nightstand and be like, ugh, I'm getting it in the morning.
Like I'm scared of ants. Like I don't want to see that. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Andrew Dominguez is back, and thank God for that because then we get comments like this on my Daily Dose of Donna lives. I eat in the bedroom, but not food. Good morning. Okay, let's keep going. Giorgio, you know you have a sick mind just like us.
Of course I
Okay,
do.
let's go into our next scenes. We finally, I don't even know what happens, but we pack to go to Palm Springs, and the worst thing happens. The worst thing happens, and apparently this is something that happens across the board in every city on Real Housewives, and that is they put their suitcases on the beds to pack. Giorgio, do you know what happens on the wheels of suitcases? And why are they on your bed that you're sleeping on? Does that not trigger you?
That always triggers me for a number of reasons, just because that thing gets thrown around so many dirty belts and people are grabbing it. But then also, it's the same way I feel about people who just like put their shoes on the couch. And
No.
like, or their bed. Like you just see people sitting on their bed, but their shoes are on. It's just like, wow, you've just been walking around outside and now you've gone to a sacred space.
No.
Like
No,
just
no, no, no. No, we don't do those things. You can't put suitcases on beds. You can't put your shoes on the couch. You can't do certain things, okay? And if you're doing these things, don't do it with cameras on. I don't want to know. They live in such a white house too. Those two, Angie and her husband, like it's shocking. It was shocking to my core.
unless to their defense, maybe they were brand new luggage, like maybe they had just purchased them and they like, you know how like Lisa Rinna does a wipe down of everything. Maybe they do that.
Lisa says, "Wow, Donna being Martha Stewart." Yes. In case you don't know, I also love to spatchcock a chicken. I'm actually not a germaphobe, but there are certain things. Everyone has those certain things that really upset you. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. There's just some things that like but I'm not crazy about shoes in the house. Like I wear my shoes around my house. That's not a problem. But it's
Same.
about your bed. It's about like where you sleep. I don't know. Okay. Now they get on the private plane to Palm Springs, but this is where I noticed something where I hadn't seen anything before. I'm trying to remember, did we see Todd before they went to Palm Springs, or did we only see Todd? Oh, no, we saw Todd on the FaceTime
On
when
the
he was in
Yeah,
Korea.
when he was giving her the lay of the land for how things were gonna go.
I noticed something about Bronwin yesterday that really, really shocked me
Hmm.
very quickly, and I hadn't noticed it before in the scenes with Todd.
Yeah.
Bronwyn is not herself around her husband.
Mm-mm.
She acts like she has this like really cutesy, fun relationship with her husband with the costumes, with the matching pajamas and all that. When she was on that private plane, she had a very, very anxious energy to her. Did you
Because
feel that?
yeah, I felt it when she was on the FaceTime with him. Because I could just sense it. I know what he probably let her know as soon as she said yes to wanting to do this show, you're not gonna make me look like an idiot, and I don't wanna get involved in all that mess. So tread lightly, because it was one of those FaceTimes, because she was like, "Oh, of course you went and got sushi. Of course you did." Like, what? Who cares? Like,
Oh,
what's the big
you're
deal? Like,
so silly, Todd.
it's such a Todd thing getting sushi. Like, like that's when I was like off. But also, she knew that this was going to be a trip filled with drama. That's why I was like, but Todd, what did you think? Even if you don't want to, then don't go, or don't agree to doing a couple's trip and then go and then be like mad that someone's like raising their voice.
There was a couple different things that happened. Number one, on the FaceTime, he wasn't looking at her. I found that incredibly strange. That's like his phone was here for the FaceTime and he was on his computer doing work. He's like, I'm not even looking at you. Well, when I talk to my husband, I'm like, can you stop what you're doing and look at me? Because I don't think you're listening to me if you're not looking at me. No offense, but like a lot of men can't multitask. This is not rude. I'm being honest. Like men have a hard time multitasking because when Lance is not looking at me, he misses half of what I say. So I'm like, can you just put your phone down for 2 seconds and look at me? And then secondly, so he's not looking at her. Okay. He's not looking at her. Secondly, when they get on the plane, he's not sitting with anyone. He's sitting up in the front and he's on his phone. And it's a Saturday. And I know this because later Seth says he has to leave in the morning and it's on a Sunday. So this is on a Saturday and he's working on the phone. He's on his phone or on his computer in the front of the private plane. And Bronwyn's sitting there in her dress, like really uncomfortable the entire plane ride. Did you notice she was sitting like this the entire
Mhm.
plane ride? She had such a very strange dynamic the second that trip started. She should have never gone on that trip. She should have never hosted because she promised him this lovely, easygoing couples trip. Girl, you signed up for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. What the hell did you think you were doing?
Well, that's why I was confused why there was all these rules about no drama at all. It's like, well, then what are you doing here then?
It was so stupid. He should have never signed off on doing the show. And she should have never let him sign off on doing the show. She was like, please, please, please let me do the show. It will be so fun. And I promise you we'll stay professional and we'll stay good and we'll stay this and this and that. And like, for whatever reason, she actually thought she was going to get this group of girls together and it was just going to be fun for 3 days. What? That's boring. That's not TV that we want to watch.
No, she had to have seen this show. She knew exactly what she was getting herself into. That's why I think she's doing a great job for the most part of, being her first season and all. And I did think it was ballsy that for her first season in her cast trip that she's hosting, she didn't invite one of the OGs. That is ballsy. And so for that, I will give her flowers because that, I don't know if I would be able to handle that. But on the flip side, you have a husband who he might be blocking your way, so maybe don't bring him on any more trips.
Yeah, I have a feeling if she comes back, which I think she will, because I think she's really popular and I think the fans really like her and she's got like the fashion and everything. I think he's going to be like one of those MIA house husbands after the season, but or they divorce. But I will say that when they get to the house and they have fun and what did you guys think about Seth running around like a crazy person looking for a bathtub in panic?
Because you know why? He knew he
Why?
was gonna have to leave the next morning.
The bathtub obsession is weird. Shit,
So, I
there's
guess my
no
question is,
bathtub.
okay, I'm not a bath person or whatever,
Me
but
either.
to be fair, I was raised that you should always shower because taking baths were not the most clean, whatever. But I do know people that will shower and then take a nice bubble bath, and that's relaxing. That doesn't relax me. It stresses me out because I'm like, I don't want to drop my phone and do all that. Anyways, I don't know why she's so. It's almost like a blanket for her or like a pacifier. Like maybe she goes into tubs when she feels anxious about something. And it makes, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something very odd about it. I get it once in a while, but like it's a must.
Clearly, he was running through
She
that
should
house
have like a
terrorizing it.
portable bath. She should bring like one of those blow up baths wherever she goes. It's not a bad idea. That's what she should market, a Meredith blow up bath. It was crazy. Like, he was literally panicking. He was running around this $10 million house. And they get in the pool. They all start kind of like having some cocktails, all start chatting. Todd is trying desperately to like fit in with this group of guys. The guys are like a ragtag crew, man. They're so random, this group of guys. You got like really good looking Angie's husband. What's his name?
Sean.
Angie's husband is John?
Sean.
Oh, Sean. You got Sean, who's like such a good looking dude. You've got Lisa Barlow's husband, who's so cute. Like, he's a good looking guy to me. You got weird Justin. I don't know. Justin's an oddball to me. You got Seth, who's just like a normal fellow. And then you've got Todd, who's everyone's dad. Everyone's dad. He's like the father of the crew. And then, of course, the girls who are starting to get a little shady over there. And when Bronwin gets up to go to the bathroom and then they call Heather, what in the world was Lisa thinking?
I think a couple things. I think she was pissed off about the conversation that Bronwyn had with her initially, where she was basically being like, look, are you going to be good? Because my husband's not going to put up with no BS, basically. They probably didn't show that. I'm just speculating that she was, because of Lisa's reaction afterwards, to be like, well, wait a second, you're making it feel like it's me that's causing the issue and I'm the one that has to be careful. But I think also she has a loyalty to Heather because last season, and she's an OG. So, like, yes, Bronwyn has probably been her friend longer, but my opinion, I think, we're on a reality TV show. You got to figure this out. And this isn't like every day. Like, yes, everyday life, Bronwyn and I, we're friends. I'll be there for you. But if you're going to be on the show with me, you got to learn to like separate yourself. And so I think Bronwyn's learning that lesson in this episode because, she thought she could just ditch Heather and have a fabulous weekend, but it backfired.
Yeah. Someone said in the comments, production. Who said that? Production said, Lindy said production told her to call. I wouldn't be surprised. It
They
really
probably don't want
did
a
make
boring
the drama. There was
weekend.
no drama. Everything was like
No.
pretty okay. Production told her to call, which actually totally makes sense. I mean, Heather picked up the FaceTime in like she looked good. So I wouldn't be surprised if that worked because it did need to come up. Like, why isn't Heather here? That's weird. You know? There was already kind of drama starting between Whitney and Lisa and whatever, and things started to get heated. And that's obviously where Todd started to freak the F out. He was like, I don't know about this. This is getting a little bit too much. Brittany, Bronwyn did not like the fact that Lisa was doing it. She felt like it was shady. She called Lisa out on it. Do you like Lisa?
I do.
Me too.
I think
I just
she's a
can't
straight
not like her. I
shooter.
don't.
I lived in New York for 4 years and I've been an East Coaster my whole life. So I appreciate a bulldog who's straight shooter and owns that this is what it is. And you don't have to like it. I'm not saying that she's perfect by any means, but there's something really relatable to how honest she is, whether it's right or wrong. And I don't know. There's just something aspirational as well. She's very chill. She seems very like down to earth. She likes to get dressed up, but she doesn't take herself all too much. Like she's not like Meredith Marks, where it's like, I don't know. I enjoy her. I think, and I feel for her too, because I feel like every season there's something where they're trying to like angle it right for her. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think she's also getting to her wit's end with it.
I can't help but like Lisa, and I think it's because she always has those vulnerable moments as a mom too, like that moment where she was like, I don't know why it's the worst thing you can say to me that I'm not a good mom. Like those moments always make me like her. And if she didn't have those moments, those heart moments in every single season or every single episode, she would lack that like empathy feeling. But because of those moments, I always gravitate towards her. Bronwyn, someone mentioned just now, and I think this is a really, really good point. Beauty Maven says, I'm surprised that Bronwyn didn't keep her cool, knowing that her husband wouldn't stand for the drama. It would be very easy for Bronwyn to be like, Lisa, like, I really wish you wouldn't have called Heather, but like we can talk about that later. Knowing that her husband was like, no drama or this is over. Because she really was the one that lost her cool to Lisa. Had she not lost her cool, there would have been no blow up and her husband wouldn't have freaked out. But what happened was she did lose her cool. She's the one that stood up and like freaked out and was like, you always make me, I forget the wording she said to Lisa, like, you always make me be on your side or whatever, no matter
Oh,
what your
yeah.
fight is.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest and fair to Bronwyn, she's had Lisa's back. Like, she hasn't been shady. And I'm glad that they show that clip again, because that's a good point of reference when Whitney was talking all that smack and Bronwyn was like, "Oh, she's not, I haven't had that experience with her. So this is like all news to me," kind of thing, you know? Whereas I think Lisa's stance is like, "No, I'm already getting it from every angle. So yeah, no, I'm not going to be jumping to stick up for you. You're new, figure it out. You wanted to be on this show so bad. Go on with your hot dog costume from Moschino." But like, no shade to her, but I think that she also manipulated that more because she was going to get back at Lisa,
Wow.
pissy. It just seems like
Yeah,
everyone's going for Lisa. That's what it always feels like,
it does. It
you
does.
know?
She goes inside, and we didn't even go into the jewelry conversation, so we'll get into that in just a second. But she goes inside, and this was the moment. This was an episode of, as I commented on your Instagram reel today, this was an episode of 16 and Pregnant all of a sudden, because she goes inside and she's just like, and Daddy Todd came in and he's like, young lady, to Bronwyn. And he said, I told you I didn't want this to happen this weekend. I'm not doing it. So either she shapes up or she's out. I'll pay for their ticket home. I'll pay for a hotel, but they're not going to stay here. And Bronwyn's like, I know. You told me. You told me. And he was like, so either you tell them or I tell them. And she's like, I'll tell them because I'm nicer than you are. Like, it was wild. I'm like, you have sex with that?
No.
What the hell? This is what you sleep with every night? Like, they're
Listen,
not.
no shade. There's a lot of psychology here that I've been noticing just watching her and her husband's interactions and
Tell me.
hearing some of her story. My view on it is that uh I think Bronwyn was someone who was burned and broken at obviously a young age with what's happened with, her being a single mom and having to deal with the other, the other family being so like neither here nor there. We don't see it. It's not real. That I think damaged her, and I think it made her lose sense of what she viewed as like what a man should be like in her life. And so maybe the last template that she registers is her father. And so this
Mm.
gentleman stimulates her because you can tell Bronwyn learned very quickly to become very intellectual, get witty, learn it like it's her business. And that's why I think she's doing so well. She's doing it in a way that she's still authentic, but she knows how to play into things. And that's why I think, for me, I feel like this is a father-daughter dynamic. And there's something that, and I don't mean that in a I mean, I guess it sounds that way, but I mean it more from the stability and the consistency piece. He's
Mm.
bringing a lot of stable uh flooring to her for her to step on and for her dogs to shit and piss on. So it's she doesn't have to worry about those things anymore that she used to have to worry about. So she can play up and play these characters, because what else can you do to keep it spicy with someone at that stage of life with that amount of success and money? Like, he probably has seen it all at that point anyway.
Do you think that maybe she is like almost a little bit in like Arrested Development? Like she's stuck a little bit almost like at that 18-year-old age when
I
she had a
think, yeah, I
kid
think emotionally stunted for sure.
with
Probably
the
needs
dressing
to
up, and
probably, yeah.
inflatable costumes.
I feel for me somewhere emotionally she got stunted, right, probably right around before she got pregnant. That's my view, because generally, like, that happens in a lot of people. You can tell the way that their interactions are, how they interact with people, even as adults. You're like, wow, that was kind of like a teenager, but like they're adults, and you're like, what is going on? But it's like she was stunted at that age emotionally. But interestingly enough, not mentally. She's very much like, you could have a like intellectual conversation with her. She's not immature by any means, but emotionally, I feel like she's very sensitive in a young way.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really a crazy story. Like, I want to go deep diving on her. I'm very, very interested in learning more about that.
I'd love to know where she had her makeover before the show, because everything they keep showing in terms of pictures, she looks just like a normal, like I'm saying, like pictures of them as a family.
I've seen
Like,
pictures of them. So she's very, very involved in like LGBTQ organizations, and like, so I like, she's very progressive and like really involved in that, in that, or like in that side, which is cool for like Utah and that world. So someone posted yesterday, I saw an article or I saw something where it was like there's a Facebook group, and in 2019 she was like very active. So this is before the show. It's not for the show. And there was a picture of her and Todd, and she had like really long hair, and she looked very normal. Like she wasn't like all done up and like bright clothes and costumed out and stuff. That's why I like worry a little bit that what we're seeing on the show feels very kind of done up and performative. And it concerns me a little bit. Like yesterday, that whole scene with the jewelry was over the top, and it really turned me off. There is absolutely no reason to hire a woman from Los Angeles to drive to Palm Springs, which is a 2-hour drive, to show you $5 million in jewelry for a TV show that you'll be filmed on. When you live in Salt Lake City, where there's plenty of jewelers around, like, what was that all about?
Well, she had to be specific with this I think his name is Norman, the jeweler that she concierged out to Palm Springs. This woman had it though. She didn't give two craps about any of it. The
Yeah, like
cameras.
she was
like
so
walked in, she's
annoyed.
like, yeah, whatever. Because he was like, oh, she's gonna be happy to see you, and she was like, yeah, sure she is. Like, whatever you need me to do. How long do I need to be here for? Because it took me 7 hours to drive.
She did not have one iota of personality, that woman.
No, and I had a question about did was this a drop off because it's clearly a loan, because she's probably going to try to wear it on camera for this jeweler, and that was what the scene was for, was a plug, like, I'll let you have it for a scene, like, like, oh, Todd told me to like just pick some things, and then
It's
I want
giving
him to
Dorit and PK for the Pretty Woman scene.
it's very rental in that way.
Do any of us remember the jeweler name? Like
Norman.
Oh, okay. So
Are you
Norman.
Are you talking about from Bronwin's scene? Or are you
Yeah.
talking about from Dorit's?
No.
Oh, from Bronwin. I don't know the full name. It's Norman something. It's NS is what I visualize right now.
I don't think it worked so well. You know what I mean? Like, it was a great
Norman,
advertisement.
It's Norma, maybe Norma something. But anyways, she was trying to come off like very, because she was like, my dog got to wear Charlize Theron's, choker, which that picture wasn't the
Poor
same necklace.
Charlize. Charlize is like, that's where my choker went? To a dog?
She probably doesn't care. She's like, who is that? No, she's really trying to put on, I think, hopefully she kind of filters some of that out, because it's a bit much. Like, I know she doesn't dress like that, the way she dressed in that yellow short shorts, puffy yellow jacket in 20-degree weather going to meet Lisa Barlow for lunch. Like, do you really dress like that to go to Chili's to see your girlfriend for like a cup of soup and a sandwich, or are you just putting this on because we're like lights, camera, action? Either
Yeah.
way, it feels a little bit like I don't feel like you would really wear this.
This whole experience is giving a little bit of Erica Jane and Tom Girardi season 1, where she was so done up and so glammed up in every scene. And then slowly stuff was starting to crumble. And I'm not saying that I hope their marriage dies. I'm just saying that like it will be interesting to see how cards fall, because inevitably something will, whether it's the marriage, whether it's, she'll have a bad season. You can't always win in the show. So stuff will come out. But right now she's having a great season, but I would never choose her life married to Todd, seeing what I saw last night. Like that does not look interesting or good to me. He does not seem like a supportive, loving husband to me. Like just for that, just not to me at all.
So I'm conflicted here, and I just want to try to be fair to him, because I feel like based on what we have seen of him, he's very protective.
Was
But
that
not just,
protecting her or protecting him?
I think, well, both. I think he's protecting the whole thing because he knows, look, this family thing that's being brought up on camera, he clearly didn't want to have anything to do with that. That was very clear. He sucked down that salmon in 2-3 bites.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to be done with this conversation. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it.
Maybe that's how he eats.
Totally. And I've been known to like when I'm hungry, I like eat big bites too. But like she was making him uncomfortable bringing that up, because I think he also has brought a lot to her daughter's life. And I think he feels like that's kind of disrespectful and probably doesn't want to give it any light. So I think he's just getting annoyed with that. And I think, I think he just has a skewed vision of what this show is actually about.
Yeah, he should have done a little more research on his Palm Pilot.
He should have just watched the season finale of last season. He would have gotten a full glimpse of what the show is about.
Yeah, it's like that's why my husband has always said, like, I would never do a reality show. Like, it's too messy. You can't do it. Like, you can't do a show unless you're willing to get messy. Now, Giorgio, I know you said you would be willing to sign up for the Real Housewives of or the Real Podcasters of Bravo.
1000%. Throw me in the ring. I've always been like, yeah, I don't mind the mess. I mean, obviously, like, I don't like the darkness in terms of like some of these storylines where people are going and getting private. I mean, I like messiness where it's like, it's shady. Like Salt Lake does it good. And I feel like if everyone's in on it and understands what they're doing, then it won't be a disaster, specifically in a marriage. I think what happens is women don't give their husbands, or they're not honest. Like maybe this isn't good for us. Like, because, maybe we don't have great communication skills. And, if they're filming for 6 hours and you roll your eyes a few times, they're going to build that in. But if maybe you and your husband might be like, we'll go into it and we'll decide our narrative and we'll pick a fight from 3 years ago and make that our issue that we're working on and keep it safe like a lot of these other housewives do.
Yeah. Okay, before we wrap, just a couple questions. You're hating RHONY like I am, or you love it?
I absolutely am hating it this season, and I liked it last season. So I'm not the person that's like, bring it OG back. Like, I get it. We've moved on. These girls are not working.
Yeah.
They're not.
I loved last season. Well, I didn't love last season, but like I was totally okay with last season.
I was on board.
I was excited for the season to start, and I'm really disappointed in the way it's going. And I'm very, very bored while I'm watching. Do you think that they're going to retool next season, given the way that the audience is feeling? Do you think that they're going to recast it or just completely cancel? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't think they'll cancel it. I also don't think they'll recast it all too much because, again, this is already a brand new cast. If anything, they might replace one person, 2 people at most, bring more friends of. I think the show needs more friends of. And I think they need to start talking on camera more. I'm really sick of the like, this happened off camera, that happened off camera, that happened off, and it's like, what? I don't care then. I want to see it for myself. So it's just a cop out. I also was turned off when they left in, which is weird. Editors are like clearly doing that for a reason. Are they annoyed with Brynn? Is that why they left that in? Because they knew that was going to come back to make her sound crazy, when the part where she's like, when I come at you about your fashion, you just say like, I have $100 million brand. It's like,
I think,
what?
honestly, if I could change anything, I haven't really thought about this. So just like think it through with me. Don't at me. Well, at me, actually. You guys tell me if you think I'm crazy. I would get rid of Jenna Lyons in a heartbeat. I would get rid of Brynn. I can't stand her. Cannot stand her. I don't think she brings anything exciting to the table whatsoever. I would keep Aaron. I would keep Sai, but Sai needs to come up with something a little bit more interesting. And I like Jessel. Raquel, I think, is quite interesting, and Uba could be good, but she needs to like come up with something storyline wise, because we're not getting anything personal about her. I would bring in 2 other women who are so kooky and weird. And what I mean by that, I want them to be like the Ramona singers. I want them to be really unaware. I don't want them to have any self-awareness. I want them to almost be on the verge of being canceled every week. I want them to be like inappropriate.
Do you know who should? Well, no, she would get canceled.
Who? Tell me.
Do you know who HRH Collection is? Do you know that girl? Have you ever seen her on TikTok pop up, or people reshare clips of her? She has like a YouTube channel or something.
I don't know who that is.
Just do yourself a favor. She's kooky, but not in like kooky, but she says a lot of things, but she would get canceled and she's in Orange County, I think, or in California. Anyway,
HRH Collection?
Yeah, just type her name in. She has like a jewelry line, but she has like a YouTube, and she just kind of rants.
And what does she talk about?
Everything, anything, but she's very reactive. Like that's why people reshare her clips. Yeah.
I'm looking at her right now.
If you go on TikTok, people create like short clips of just her rants that are just like sound bites, essentially.
Okay, so someone like that. Like, I want a Ramona singer type. I know everyone's what?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Someone like that, but in New York.
Yeah, I want someone that is like so witty, like a Bethany, not like a I want to fuck you.
It's missing. It's too clean.
It's too clean. I want someone, who could be great, like a Jenny Mullen type. Like the girl who's married to Jason Biggs. I want someone like that is fucking weird a little bit.
I wish Lindsay Lohan would move to New York and join that cast.
Yeah, or like put Lindsay Hubbard on there.
Do you know who I want to create a petition. Do you know who I think needs to go to Orange County?
Who?
Heidi Montag. You guys can fight me if you want to.
Oh my God, with Spencer Pratt.
Are you kidding me?
Genius.
They would be. I don't know why they aren't talking to them. The amount of, first of all, they understand the assignment. They don't care about the mess, and they have a family. Like, they have a real life. So it's like, what's not clicking here? And they do it too. Like Spencer.
Oh my God, that is so smart. That is actually a really smart thing. She seems so much younger though. Like, can you imagine her next to Shannon?
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, she's not really, because I just turned 40 and Katie Janela is 39. She's
but Spencer. Oh, I guess Heidi Montag is probably what, 35?
Yeah, she's probably 35 or 36.
That's a great idea. I honestly think if we can get like a Lindsay Hubbard and maybe a couple of Lindsay Hubbard's friends on RHONY, like that is the crew. You need someone that really gets reality TV, that's been messy and isn't scared to be messy on reality TV.
Or isn't scared of or scared of what they're going to say on reality TV. Like, because they know they're good enough in that way. They're not worried about that. Like, they understand they can be flipped up, and it's fun. It's all in you got to be able to laugh at yourself. And I also think it's not for everybody, right? It's just not. People try it out. It doesn't work. Like, we're seeing Rebecca Minkoff is flat. Like,
dude,
you just said
you're doing a little bit of a deep dive.
I am. I actually am finishing up the little bits of my like cliff notes and stuff to be able to do like a quicker TikTok, and I'm going to do like a fuller breakdown of it. But it's been interesting because it's like also coming up with two theories as to why she joined this type of show with everything that I've discovered and back in the Scientology bit, but and just her reaction to the Scientology of it all on the show has been interesting. And this
So
upcoming
stupid. You put a
episode,
Scientologist on Real Housewives of New York. You speak about it on the show enough to know that she is a Scientologist, and then you don't go there.
well, because there's good reasons, and so it would open up a can of worms, and that's why she's not. And that's why I think she also is just trying this out, because I also think it would benefit her business, obviously, and she's trying to test the waters out, but I think she's also trying to deflect from. That's why if you'll see they have a preview of it out, but the first 7 minutes of next week's episode is out, and they obviously set up a scene where Aaron is there to ask her about Scientology. But the way she explains it, because she's Jewish, so that was what Aaron was like, oh, I thought, I didn't realize. So what do you do? But she's from a generational like family that's been in Scientology. Like her mom taught her how to sew at 8 years old. She was very resourceful. She didn't have to go through a lot of the steps and processes that other kids went through when they're in the Sea Org, I guess, in Scientology. Her brother was like in the CIA department of what Scientology, their public relations and like high clearance and all that stuff. So there's a lot there. And Leah Remini unpacked something about one of the things that's connected to her dad. It's just like,
Oh yeah, her dad had a horrible experience. Her dad is an awful human being.
So it's just, I think that's erupted, and it's weird that she's just trying to be like, they're just tools for my life. Like, I'm just like, she's treating it like it's a take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Like, no, that's not how I don't think so, at least.
She's shady. Not a fan. Giorgio, where can my dosers find you? Oh wait, Asif is saying look at Dana Wilkie's new post. I'm gonna pull that up. But Giorgio, where can people find you? And I'm gonna look it up.
You guys can find me on TikTok and Instagram at GEORGIO Says, and yeah, my podcast streams everywhere you get your podcast.
Okay, what? Yes, you guys go and follow Giorgio Says. He is the best. And Dana Wilkie posted, Whitney Rose, I'm going to destroy you.
I knew
You
this was
from
gonna
me
happen.
at the time. It wasn't Lisa.
She
said you lied to daddy. Activated.
Well, also you also have to remember she's really good friends with Adam, so she's also going to defend him now even more because of last night.
I can't even.
I won't be surprised if she comes up with even more screenshots and receipts, or she outs who originally gave her the information that's on the cast.
Oh my God, you guys, this is too good. Once again, I am not Dana Wilkie. I am Donna Bowling. You guys, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure to tell your friends to subscribe. We have a members only here on YouTube in just under 2 hours at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Giorgio, I love you. Go follow Giorgio on Instagram and TikTok, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.